Welcome to Locas Chronicles, where we dig into the lives, laughter, and legacies of two Latinas walking in faith and servitude. Each week, we unpack our journeys through ministry, sharing the triumphs, trials, and everything in between. So grab your cafecito, get comfortable, and let's get into today's episode of Las Locas Chronicles. Hey everybody, welcome to Las Locas Chronicles. Yes, we are back, and it always gets crazy when we try to record around here. Can you tell them what just happened?
Yeah, Alexis says, Jess pressed the start recording button, and I reach over and the power just shut off. The power has never shut off in this house before. I've
Literally,
been here.
like we are just seconds away,
Right.
and everything turns off.
Sitting here, full makeup, everything. It's not even raining outside.
It's not even raining outside. So, so we know, like, this is what we're supposed to do.
Right.
Every obstacle creates, a reason for us to keep going.
Right. It just solidifies what we're supposed to be doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, we're going to start with that. But before we begin, on deck today's snacks is the OJ by Simply, right? This is by Simply.
Simply, yes.
Orange, and it's amazing. And then we have, she said we're not going to have a little bowl this time. She said we're going to have a whole bowl. And we have, once again, the best popcorn,
yes,
healthy popcorn.
I think it's called Simple Nature from Aldi.
But it's the best healthy popcorn option.
Yes.
That I've had. Then we have some roasted nuts.
Also from Aldi.
And then we have, explain these.
The official name of these, I don't know. I gotta go get the bag.
They're the Harvest, like dried snap peas.
Yes, something like that.
But
so they have
flavor.
different flavors. This one's Parmesan. But I also have some wasabi ones. So which one do you like better, the wasabi or the Parmesan?
This is heavy Parmesan.
So you don't like it?
I love cheese. So
let me see.
Yeah.
I like the Parmesan ones. The wasabi ones I like too, but it's a little spicy for me.
And you like a little spicy now. You didn't then, but the wasabi ones were just real wasabi. It was like maybe because it's green. It was like eating a clump of that wasabi.
Was it?
It was good. I like anything crunchy.
Okay.
But I think I like these. I'm the OG girl. I like the original Harvest chips, but it's good.
Do they have flavor on it?
They have a little salt.
That's it.
It's good though. Yeah.
Okay.
It's good. It's a good snack. You know when you get those trays of fruit and with the ranch, I like the snap peas. Dip in a little ranch.
Well, let us know what your favorite snacks are.
When you're watching the LLC.
Right here, look. Parmesan, my favorite.
No, it's good. I love cheese. I'm a cheese girl all the way. The only thing I won't do, like...
And some orange juice.
I love my orange juice. And I love ice. Like, everything has to have...
Sorry.
Everything has to have its ice.
Okay.
You know?
I did. I put a lot of ice.
She did.
Now, I love my ice machine because it makes like those little round, like the little cubes. It's not the long ones, but like the short, like the... Almost kind of like the Chick-Fil-A, ice cubes.
I'm going to say...
I already know what you're going to say. Go ahead. You about to get some hate comments right now. Go ahead.
How quickly they turn. How quickly y'all turn. But I'm going to say it.
Go ahead. Do you, boo?
Chick-fil-A is overrated.
What?
It's overrated.
I knew you was going to say that.
I know you did.
So why? Why do you feel that? Because I like the chicken nuggets. I like the #1 chicken sandwich. Oh, and the #2 spicy chicken sandwich. Yup. with some ranch on there. Oh my gosh.
The bun is simple. Simple bun. I will give it to the chicken. Very tender, very real. You're not questioning whether this is chicken or not. I'll give it to you 100%. But one time I had Chick-fil-A at a corporate lunch, and they forgot the Chick-fil-A sauce. Chick-fil-A without the Chick-fil-A sauce is average. It's
what?
Subpar. It's subpar. Like
y'all, let us know in the comments if you agree with her.
Listen, the waffle fries, they're just fries to me. Like
what?
There's no seasoning on there. Listen,
I
McDonald's
love waffle
fries beat everybody.
You think so?
What?
I do like McDonald's fries too.
Yo, out of the water. You can have it with ketchup, without
So you're
ketchup.
saying McDonald's fries are better than Chick-fil-A waffle fries?
100%.
What?
1,000%.
Yo, y'all need to let us know right now. What are your favorite fries?
So
McDonald's or Chick-fil-A? Or if you have another fry. I do like Checkers fries.
Oh, but Checkers fries got seasoning. They got flavor. They're
They do.
good. They're very good.
Now,
I
everything
enjoy them
else
too.
at Checkers, they be kind of dirty sometimes.
Checkers, the banana shake.
What?
Have you not had the
I've never had the banana shake.
Yo, but Checkers is closing, bro. Like, I don't even know if they have any open anymore.
They may not. All I know is that there was
Checkers banana shake. Every time I came from the airport, because, you know, there was a Checkers right there by my mom. Like, you had to pass the Checkers to get to my mom's house. We, at least a kid's, if you've had the banana shake at Checkers,
it's changed your whole life.
it was smackalicious.
Smackalicious?
Smackalicious, bro. For real.
Okay.
Delicious, bro. So, anyway, back to Chick-fil-A. The spicy chicken, good. Their salads, good. The lemonade, a little too tangy, like, but it's good. It is what I like. But sometimes it be catching me right here. It be giving me like a little.
You know why?
Why?
Because Chick-fil-A be sensing the hate that you got for it.
Oh, God. Customer service, 1,000%.
Yeah.
But I still rather go to White Castle. Oh, they don't be as happy in White Castle.
She talking my love language right there, boy. I love White Castle.
What do you know about White Castle? Y'all don't know about no White
Let
Castle.
me tell you something though about my sister here. My sister, I hadn't been to New York in years, bro. Years since your wedding. When was that? 2008?
2003, honey.
No, 2003.
Like,
No, maybe I went after that. Maybe I went into 2006 or 7.
Quickly.
So we went. When did we go? Pastor Mike's thing was maybe
Like 3
2022,
Yeah.
something like that. So she picks me up. I said, "Girl, you gotta take me to White Castle." No, why? Because you gotta eat it at 1:00 in the morning. First of all, who want to eat a White Castle burger at 1:00 in the morning?
Not one, but 3.
What? Do you know that she would not take me to White Castle until it was like 12:30 at night? She goes, "Okay, we can get White Castle now." I said, "Girl, what?"
I have regimens. I have. There.
She said, "It just tastes better at night."
It just tastes better at night. Their crinkle fries.
Do you agree with that? Let me know.
Their crinkle fries smacks with the cheese sauce.
Okay.
Them grilled little onions.
I never had their cheese sauce.
What? That night I had some.
Onion rings, bomb.
Onion rings, bomb. Yes.
My little cheeseburgers, bomb. Fish sandwiches, bomb.
You know I never had the fish sandwich.
What?
No.
The chicken
Rings.
Rings.
You better know.
Chicken
You
rings,
better act
bomb.
like you know.
Bomb. Okay.
So.
But you know what else?
That
It's gonna
real-
hit you like a bomb.
Those little burgers pack a punch. They pack a whole lot
And
of
she
punch.
want me to eat it at 2:00 in the morning.
Yo, but it's amazing. Tell me you didn't inhale that.
I did inhale it because I wanted it.
And
First
I
of all,
guess
what
another reason why I love McDonald's and White Castle, because they have high C orange. They're one of the few places that carry high C orange. I don't like high C pink lemonade or fruit punch. High C orange. When McDonald's decided they wanted to take high C orange off the menu, facts, they got written up. Like the food police came out like, woo, woo, woo. What are you doing? You are gonna get subpoenaed by the court of law. Like, you need to come back with the high C orange, and they did.
Wow.
And they did.
Okay, so then what is your favorite chicken?
So back to Chick-Fil-A.
My daughter calls it Chick-Fil-A.
All right. The little nuggets that you're talking about, they are good. They are good. One time I tried one of them TikTok things where you take the fries, the little nuggets, and you put the Chick-fil-A sauce, the Polynesian, the buffalo, and you just mix it all up. It was banging. 5,000 calories later, it was banging. But it's not like, it's the sauces that make it happen, for real.
Okay.
In the morning, those little tiny nugget things, or the chicken little
biscuits.
Nah, kid. Nah. I was like, okay. Again, you need to dip it in a sauce for it to taste like anything. They have one of the best bacon, egg, and cheese on a biscuit because their biscuits are fresh. Their biscuits taste good.
Okay.
My favorite chicken out there, though. Like, you talking chicken sandwich or what kind of chicken?
Like any chicken.
Because I love chicken.
Chicken sandwich, chicken nuggets.
Love chicken. All my OGers, Burger King original chicken sandwich. That's not fresh like Chick-fil-A, but it's
that's good.
It smacks. If they have the right kind of crispy, if they have that wilted lettuce,
yeah, then it's not good.
And then they have to have the right, like the worker has to be like a Christian to put the right amount of mayo on the burger, because then sometimes they put too much.
And then it's nasty.
Right. But my favorite chicken is New York's KFC.
KFC is the bomb. And I was going to say, I love their chicken strips and I love their chicken sandwich. Have you ever had their chicken sandwich?
No, I haven't.
Bomb.
Word?
Yup.
Yo.
Bomb. Y'all need to try KFC's chicken sandwich, and because they make it fresh. It is actually really good.
KFC, though, in New York, the chicken breast is plumpier. Because out here in these streets,
right,
they don't be feeding their chickens. Their chickens come like huesos.
Right. Well, maybe the chicken in New York just has a whole bunch of hormones in it.
I don't care. I don't care.
It's filled up with steroids.
I love me some chicken.
Okay, now I'll say this. Yes, I love KFC's chicken sandwich and chicken strips. Dip it in the mashed potato. What?
Their mashed potato and gravy
is good.
You know how everyone all of a sudden changes their recipe, and for what reason? Like they're getting the ingredients are getting worse and worse, more chemicals and all this stuff. But KFC's gravy has stood true to the test of time.
Their coleslaw too. That biscuit. See, Popeyes, you need to have like 20 packets of honey. I don't like Popeyes that much.
You need to put 20 packets of honey for that piece of coal to taste like something. But KFC's biscuits be moist and they be like fresh. And have you ever taken a piece of biscuit and put it and sopped up the coleslaw juice on that biscuit, son?
No.
What? You missing out, kid.
No.
You missing out. I need to teach you.
She taking it to a whole nother level. Okay, let's talk about some chicken places in Texas, though. So we got Cane's, Raising Cane's.
My husband loves it.
I love Raising. What?
Yo, again, if it's not for the sauce, it's just
plain chicken.
Plain chicken, for real. Like, can we add some spices to this batter?
Like adobo?
I go. What else is in Texas? Don't give me no Golden Chick or...
Golden Chick. Golden Chick, the only thing I like is those corn nuggets because it reminds me of Sizzler.
Oh. If you know about the buffet at Sizzler, this ain't for you young kids.
You remember they had that one in Massapequa.
My parents'
next
house.
to the mall, bro.
My parents' house, right there.
We used to go over there all the time.
Yo, Sizzler's buffet. If you know, they had the corn nuggets. They had the corn nuggets. Used to be putting them in your purse because you were like for later.
Golden Chick has those same corn nuggets.
Oh, we about to roll up at Golden Chick. Be like, save your chick. We just here for the corn nuggets.
For the corn nuggets, bro, you need to get a Golden Chick.
You're moving way too fast past Sizzler. Can I just reminisce?
Okay, we're going back to Sizzler.
They had the salad bar with smacks, and then
they
had on the other side they had the marinara sauce spaghetti, chicken wings, fried chicken wings. Do you remember that?
No.
What's wrong with you? Because right next to the chicken wings was the corn nuggets.
Listen, all I ate was corn nuggets and a cheeseburger.
Sizzler had cheeseburgers?
They had, because you could order for menu or get the salad bar.
Bro, we just had enough for that $6.99 salad bar.
What?
Do you guys know what we're talking about, Sizzler?
Let me know if y'all have ever been to a Sizzler.
Do they still have one? I think there was one open in Orlando. Is it still open?
There was one open in Orlando. Richie and I had gone one time. It must be like over 10 or 12 years ago.
My husband, my
and it was not like what I remember. It was kind of like Denny's level, like dirty. It was like Denny's level dirty. No offense, Denny's. I mean, but sometimes y'all just like the one back in Florida. I went to eat syrup and it had ants in it.
Oh no!
I was.
Oh
no! Literally, imagine you take your syrup, go to pour it. I said, what are those black things? Is this like a special syrup?
No.
It was extra protein, bro. It had.
You are nasty.
It had ants in it. I was so mad. I literally left my food there. I said, I'm not paying for that trash. And I walked out. Which is a shame because I really like their food.
But why do you think like certain places have this stigma of being dirty? Like
because they are?
No, but I mean like what makes it like people know if they go to a Chick-Fil-A it's gonna be clean.
Right. Like you go to Wendy's.
Wendy's change, bro. Wendy's changed.
I like Wendy's food too, but I
used
not.
To, my husband and I, that used to be when we were youth pastors on a youth pastor salary, $0.
Oh, we love us some Wendy's.
The chili
and the baked potato. What?
The chili, baked potato, the spicy nuggets.
Right. And you can get the 4 for 4, 5 for 5. Like, and listen, we used to take the whole family there.
Their fries were McDonald's, but their fries
were good too. Mm-hmm. They are good. You know what I'm saying? But some places, I think it really comes down to customer service. And I think really, I'm going to say something because I go deep real fast. I think it has a lot to do with workers and the feeling of entitlement. Because I feel like people are like, oh, I'm too good for this job. Bro, you ain't got a job. You know what I'm saying? So if you got a job, you should be happy that you have a job, and the Bible says that we have to work as we work unto the Lord. So if you're not coming out and you're not cleaning them tables and you're not cleaning up all the old fries on the floor, are you working as you work unto the Lord? No, you working like you're an employee of the devil.
Now, I almost choked on my roasted peanut. No, let's talk about that because you're absolutely right. I feel. Back in the day, you could go anywhere and you felt good eating there. Like, I'm not going to put down, Denny's or anything because, I live in a place where not too many things are open.
Right. And I like Denny's. I still go to Denny's.
No, right. Like, I think I said a story about my me stealing somebody's bacon, remember?
Yeah, at Denny's, yeah.
So we go there from time to time, but you're absolutely right. What happened? I think we're going to go here. What happened to the quality of service? My first job at 14 years old was Mickey D's. And because I was young, I was only in charge of the fry station and the cashiers and, of course, cleaning. But when I cleaned, bro, my father, shout out to my dad, he was a porter for some buildings in Flushing, New York. And I don't know, but it was always in me. Like, if I was told to clean the bathroom, way I eat, like, and just like... That's it, Like, I'm gonna clean. I'm gonna clean the bathroom.
Like it's your house.
Like, what happened?
Because you're serving people, man.
What happened to the quality of service that we have now? That when you go into a bathroom, ain't nobody clean that bathroom.
Yo,
ain't nobody care about that bathroom.
This is a real story. I went to go take my daughter in Texas to do her physical therapy hours. She had to observe physical therapists in their setting. It was over an hour away. My daughter didn't want to drive there because it's a new city. She's never driven in Dallas before, so I drove her over there.
And there are places in Dallas that are crazy to drive.
Right. And it was around rush hour, so she's like, Mom, I just don't feel comfortable, and I don't want to take your car, and God forbid something happens,
Right.
whatever.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, don't worry, I'll find me a restaurant. I'll find a Dunkin' Donuts. I'll find a
It's cold
Starbucks.
up in here, son.
It is cold.
And
And so
right
it's just like all of a sudden, like the air starts
For real, I'm
bumping.
like, what's the monsoon? The blizzard. Okay, sorry.
So I said I find me someplace to go and eat or sit and use the Wi-Fi so I can work because I had some Zoom calls and
Like a good mother.
right. So I go to Dunkin'. I love Dunkin'. I'm not bashing Dunkin' or
We
anything.
grew up on
this
Dunkin'.
particular Dunkin'. Let's just say that this particular Dunkin'. I'm like, oh, let me go there because there was a Starbucks right next to it and it was full of cars. And I'm like, I can't be with it. I just got to get on this Zoom. And it was like going to be 3 hours long, the Zoom meeting. So I'm like, okay. So I go in there. When I tell you
That's horrible.
that this place looked like it hadn't been cleaned since like a week. There was stuff all over the floor. I go to the table, which was in a nice corner. It was right next to a plug. If you know, right, you know it's important.
Yeah.
Right? They got free Wi-Fi. I look at the chairs. They're all dirty. Like there was dirt in there. Like if it had been there like 3 months.
No.
In the crack of the seat.
No.
That means nobody's going there and wiping it clean. Under the table's food. Then, bro, I went to the bathroom.
No, pero ¿por qué?
Because I had to go to the bathroom.
Were
bro.
you the inspector, bro?
I had to go to the bathroom. Like if I should have just got in my car and drove away.
You should have known already.
When I went to the bathroom,
outside, imagine.
when I went to the bathroom, first of all, the floor was disgusting. Like you ladies already know, like you never sit on the toilet. You got to use your squatting muscles. You know what I'm saying? You're just gonna hover over the seat. Okay, next thing.
That's like girl code 101.
For reals. If you're
Girl
not hovering,
what are you doing?
what
are you-
I don't even we know what you're doing if you're not hovering, so
My God.
so then I said,
We need a
okay.
Lysol your
I'm
nalgas.
like, I'm professional hoverer. Okay, did my thing. Go to wash my hands. Why is the soap dispenser broken? And you felt the need to put a bucket of soap, a bucket of soap right next to the hand dispenser. Like, was I gonna take my dirty hands filled with bacteria?
Oh my God.
And now scoop soap out of the bucket to wash my?
No, Jessica.
I kid you not. I kid you not. So then, okay, I'm like,
This story's not over?
I'm like,
How
this.
is this story not
So
over?
I went back. Why did I go back the next day? Because they have free Wi-Fi. I get to plug in my devices.
Okay,
and
wait.
Nobody
But why-
came there.
But why didn't you go to? Because everybody was at Starbucks.
Or everybody was at Starbucks. So I said, I'm gonna just go back because they got the free Wi-Fi, they got the plug, and nobody was there. So nobody. Well, now I know why nobody was there. and so the next day I go back in and they had the.
Tell me you did not get a donut.
I did not get a donut. So they had the changing station. I go to the bathroom again, but I already got my, my hovering skills. I walk in there and the changing station's down. Yo.
Oh no.
There was
Yo.
hair all over it. It looked like when somebody wets it and then like, you know how kids take dirty hands and they go like this and it's like all dirt. The changing table. I wouldn't even put my dog up there. I wouldn't even defile my dog that way.
My God.
I said, you gonna, and it was open.
No.
And the manager went to the bathroom. And do you know the same dirt that was there the day before was the same dirt that was there this next day? I said, no, I can't. Anyway, I still have a half a mind to go and make a complaint about that place.
How long ago was this?
I mean, that was like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, girl, you late. We gonna write right after this pod. We gonna write to somebody.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
Is this the way you act in your own personal life, or is this just personal laziness?
No, you know what it is.
Or you don't respect your employer, or you think you're too good for the job.
There's a lot to be said because we had this conversation about leadership and that everything flows from the top down. And I often think about what if, in a healthy way, right? Not in, we could get into it, but I think, what if I were a manager? In this example, I've thought of it many times. How would I always find a way to teach
Yeah.
And I love mentorship, especially when it comes to young people. I'm a youth pastor at heart.
Yeah.
I will always be a youth pastor at heart. So my heart is because if I can train this young person to do a great job here,
Yes.
I'm training this person to do a great job in school, to when they
Yes.
have their own home.
It's about work ethic
It's
that
about
carries
the ethic,
over.
Absolutely. So you have a lot of people nowadays that are like, well, I don't get paid enough. Or, I've also heard, because this is conversations that I've had
Yeah.
with the people, I've also heard people say, well, the company doesn't even give us cleaning supplies.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something.
I feel that, but
No,
Ivory
no, no,
soap
no.
is literally
Like,
$1.
Listen, let's go to the.
Oh, girl, sorry.
It's all right. Let's go to the Dollar Tree.
Right.
And for $1.25, get that all-purpose
Yes.
Comet bathroom cleaner, and then they have the Fabuloso little bottle to do, like, they even have mops.
Yes.
They even have brooms. They have all the things now. They have scrubbers. Like, they have the stick, and then you just buy the different attachments. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I don't know, but like,
Literally.
I trust me, I understand, and it's not just the fast food places now. It's everywhere. Everybody's underpaid.
Yeah.
Okay, except for athletes, except for celebrities.
Are we really underpaid, or we don't know how to manage money?
No, I mean there are sometimes, because you go into the supermarket.
Yeah.
What was once 50 cents, bro.
Yeah, that's true.
Is $2-3.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And people aren't getting paid what they should in order to live. Most places.
Yeah.
Like single mothers. How are single mothers doing
Yeah.
it at this time? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm talking into that. Like, I understand. I want you to know I understand.
Yeah.
But this is more than that. This is us trying to set you up for you to be the manager of that place.
Thank you. And here's the thing. I know people say, "Oh, they don't pay me enough to do this." They don't
Right.
pay.
But
Here's what I want to tell you. Right. Here's what I want to say. First of all, number one, it's about your personal character and work ethic. That's going to carry over into every area of your life. Right.
Yeah. Over every area.
If again, we come back to the word. If you're not faithful in the little, God can't give you more. So if you can't even take care of the dirty tables out in the lobby. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't cost you anything to grab a rag and some Dawn dish soap water and go and wipe a table down. Like, you do with what you have.
Again, I'm going back to if I were in this role, what would I do? I would take out $5 for my personal, right? And that Dawn dish soap.
Let's talk about the blue one, girl.
The blue one. Don't be coming here with nothing else.
The Dawn dish soap is the bomb.
You get that Dawn dish soap, and you go and get a big gallon of vinegar. You get a spray bottle. You don't need to buy nothing else. That vinegar and that Dawn soap in the spray bottle will clean everybody's life. It will even, I was going to say something, but it's horrible. It will clean, I stopped and I thank you, Lord. It will clean everybody's life. Like, seriously. Bathrooms, the kitchen, the seats. It doesn't smell good at first, but it's gonna disinfect. It's gonna clean. It's gonna clean your life. It is so. I'm telling you, I'm an avid cleaner. I love to clean. I love to organize. So you are absolutely right. Those 3 things, I will put my money on those 3 things, and then I don't need to do anything else.
And listen, when I grew up, we lived in a 1-bedroom apartment. Yeah. And I had two siblings. One of my brothers passed away when he was 3. Mm-hmm. And so my parents had the bedroom, and we had bunk beds in the living room. Me and my brother, we're 1 year apart. I slept at the bottom. My brother slept at the top. And then I had a younger brother. So I was 5. My brother was 4. And I had another brother who was 3 years old. He would sleep on a love seat sofa, bro. So you have 5 people in one house in a 1-bedroom apartment in the Bronx. Right. Okay? And there's one thing that my mother would say always to me. I don't care if you have 1 t-shirt, 1 pair of underwear, and 1 pair of pants. Whatever you have, you can wash it by hand.
Right.
You can iron it in the morning. You always have to be clean and represent. I don't care if you have one dish and one fork in your house. It better be clean. Take care of the things that God has given you. You know what I mean? Like, that is so important.
We weren't raised in church, but my dad would always say, make sure your hair is presentable, right? Make sure that kind of the same ethics. And so I feel like we're living in a place where we lost that. And again, for the same reason, people are like, I don't get paid enough. This isn't my house. But it is still a reflection of you. You're the one working here.
Right.
You're the one.
Right.
Let me tell you, you want to get me upset real quick? Sometimes I feel one of my life dreams was always to be a police officer.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Girl,
yeah.
I never knew that.
I wanted to, in elementary school.
I can see it, though.
5th grade, I wanted to go to the Air Force. Yeah, I had it planned out. I wanted to be in the Air Force. And then for some physical impairments, I couldn't. But I wanted to be in the Air Force. I wanted to be a police officer, and from police officer, detective.
Okay.
That was like the goal.
Right.
You know, you could see me rolling up like Officer Lex, like, can I help you? Or,
Here she come.
Like, you know, are you supposed to be here right now? Like,
hide your bags. Hide your wink.
So, but my thing is like, I just feel like people need to kind of respect themselves more.
Yeah. Yes.
You know, I always envision if I come into a place, I'm the manager, like I just show up and I can't stand what's going on today where people are just on their phones. You walk in, before you used to walk into a place, hi, how are you? You used to be greeted face to face.
They don't even greet you anymore.
No,
they act like you bothering them.
You bothering them.
You're like, God forbid you have a question.
Oh.
Yeah.
Straight. And I feel like, man, if I were the manager, if I were...
Yeah.
But then we say we want to do all these things with our lives, but like you said,
you don't even have
not
integrity in
committed.
that area.
You don't have integrity in that area.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
to go above and beyond, to help people, to be kind to people. I went to Walmart and I asked the kid, I said, do you have fertilizer for houseplants? He said, yeah, I'm not sure. He literally said, I'm not sure, and kept looking at his phone. I said, so... Then I said, okay, I guess I'll just check the app.
And that's what we've had to do now. Everything, you're going to find it on our, G2.
Yeah, we need a device to help us because the people are too busy to help us.
Because there's no more, and I want to shout out now, because it's rare and few. There's some of you that do an outstanding job. There's some of you that need to be seen, and I pray that the Lord would reward you and elevate you in the field that you're in. Yeah. And I know right now you may be putting things away. You may be a stock person, but you're going to be a lawyer. You're going to be the principal of a school. And I just thank you for what you're doing now. I thank you for what you're doing now. And let me speak into the management, because that's where it starts.
Yeah.
You see yourself as a manager, and I know, again, I'm for you. I understand that perhaps you're not getting paid enough and maybe the companies are not helping you to lead, but please do a service to the people that are under you. Yes. And I know that that's probably not part of your job, but it's part of the kingdom. It's part of the kingdom.
It is part of the kingdom.
It is part of what you can do to make society better. It's
the power of influence.
Absolutely.
It's the power of influence. It's what leadership is about. It's really changing the atmosphere and creating a culture.
Right.
Like, you're learning so much more than what you think that you're learning.
Right.
We have the ability, and this is what God has called us to do, is to be an influence. When we say that we're being a light in the midst of darkness, what we're saying, because I think we say that, I say it a lot, right? But really what we're saying by that is that we need to influence others and
Right.
show them who Christ really is.
Show them by our works.
Right. And so we do have the power to change our environment.
Right.
We do have the power to say, you know what, we don't have a lot of resources here, but we're going to use what we have. So we're going to learn problem solving. I'm going to show you innovation.
Right.
I'm going to show you, how to be resourceful.
But you said one thing. You said something about being integral. Like, let's go back to Dunkin' Donuts, right?
Yeah.
Back in the day, do you remember the commercial? Time to
make the donuts.
And
Yep.
it was ongoing because Dunkin' Donuts revolved its business around fresh donuts. Okay?
Yeah.
And when you're in this field and you're okay with selling donuts that are expired,
Oh, my God.
when you know that there's a criteria, there's a protocol, and you have surpassed that, and you are teaching your employees, that's okay, we're going to sell them. You have just shown the people under you how to cheat the system.
Right.
And we cannot live in a society where all we do is cheat the system. We need some people to come up and say, okay, this is what we're going to do. We have to put those away. Because I'm going to even take it further. There's some people that you come in and you're like, hey, are those donuts fresh? And they will lie in your face.
Yes.
And say, yes, they are. And you are just teaching your workers and the people that are under you to lie, to cheat. And we need more people of integrity to say, you know what, I'm tired. I'm the only one in here that's working. I'm the only one in here that's doing.
We need people to stand up for what's right.
Right.
We cannot.
In every area. Like, we're taking Dunkin'
area.
Donuts, we're taking Chick-Fil-A, we're taking all, but we're talking about even in the church.
Even in.
Because
I'm going to say something right now.
No, you're going to say it. The thing is,
Because
studies show that only 10% of the church is working. And this was about 15 years ago, this study. I believe it could be even less now, that only 10% of the people in the church are working. That they're volunteering, that they're doing, that they're active. There's always a need for more people. Well, we want to grow the ministry. We want to grow the children, but we don't have enough people.
Yeah.
We don't know. People didn't sign up. People didn't this and that. But even though those that sign up, how well are you working?
And I was even going to take it to another level.
Take it.
When we talk about people not, cutting corners and cheating the system, even in church. Even in church. How many of us are faithful in our giving? And here you are robbing God.
People hate the topic of finances in the church. But finances, guess what? Finances were created by God.
They were created by God. Listen, the tithe... Giving was created to test our obedience. This has nothing to do with your pocketbook. You know why? Because it's not your pocketbook. It's God's pocketbook.
And the thing is that the more people strive to have more, the more they strive, they're losing out, because God has this flow of heaven.
Yeah.
That's just waiting for your obedience to open it up so that you don't have to do all of this. The Bible talks so much about how if we give, more is given, and how blessed it is to be a blessing. And that the farmer that has a small seed, if it's sown properly, harvests so much, right? And yes, Jess, even in the church, we have people that all they want is the show. They want the exposure. They want this. But what are they contributing to the house which they're being fed in? It's like going to a restaurant, asking for an appetizer or two, asking for a prime rib, asking for the potatoes, asking for a side of onions, asking for this and that, asking for a dessert, and then when the bill comes, walk away.
Yeah. And I'm going to say this. If you can't be faithful in your giving, you're not going to be faithful in other places either. If you can't walk in obedience in that thing that God has called us to do,
So
it
good.
all belongs to God anyway. And God is waiting for you to walk in obedience, right? To say, we know that it belongs to the Lord. We're going to take God's portion right off the top and we're going to give it back to God because He's the one that blessed us with it.
Let me. This story just came up, right? We're gonna talk about. See, the tithe. The tithe is the Lord's, right? And there are some churches now that don't believe in the tithe. They say that that's over. The tithe belongs to the Lord. That is our belief. But that is not an offering.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? There is tithe and then there is offering. And what I will never forget, what I was told, the offering is a reflection of my gratitude. You know? And in my personal life, the Lord gets 10% of everything. I love how in the Old Testament it says, and He gave 10% of everything. The Lord, in my life, that's how I work. 10% of everything that comes in, I give to the Lord, right? But when it comes to offering, my offering is more than my tithe. In my personal life. Because that's, again, when you go into the New Testament, it talks about what has He put in your heart to give, right? And so that's how I feel. And He's blessed us, even in moments that are hurtful, even in moments of drought. God's mighty hand has been upon that. And I do believe it's because it's a result of how He's seen the sacrifice, how He's seen how we sow, etc. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing to give.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And I was raised in church, and my father always spoke about being faithful in giving, and we didn't hardly have anything.
Yeah.
And I remember that my dad had this old station wagon, and my dad was a musician, and so people would invite him to go around to different churches in the Bronx, and he would go and play, right? So I remember telling my dad in the back of the car, I would say, Dad, when we go to the church, do not call me up and do not make me sing a song. Because you remember back in the day, like
all the time.
People were invited and they'd be like, yeah.
Hermanos, tengo una canción para la onda.
Yeah, I want to invite my daughter Jessica so she can come sing a song, and then I'd be like 100 times, con poder, con poder. So I told my dad, please don't call me up. I don't want to sing a song, whatever. And of course, every time I get there, he's like, oh, I want to call my daughter Jessica to come up. And I'm like, I would go up there like, so.
He was never going to listen to you.
He was never. Because he saw my desire and passion for the Lord and the calling on my life ultimately, right? So he knew that my heart was postured towards God even back then.
Yeah.
But I remember one time my father had to go to a church to go preach and sing, and he had no money for gas. And so I remember him and my mom were talking, and I remember him saying, my mother was like, just cancel, just don't go. And my father said, no, I'm going to go. He's like, I have enough to get there. He goes, hopefully, I'll get a love offering. So we're going to talk about that too, right?
Yeah.
We're going to talk about that too. So keep that, let's bookmark that.
Pinning it.
And so he said, hopefully I'll get a love offering and I'll be able to get some gas to come home. And so I remember getting in the car. My dad says, Jessica, you coming? Of course, I was always going to go. Hello. And so I went with my dad in the car. And I remember driving down the street, my dad stopping the car. And he goes, did you see that? Did you see that? And I'm like, what, Dad, what? And he goes, I think I saw some money flying by the car. This is no exaggeration. Wind blew. There was a $20 bill that flew right by the car. My father stopped the car in the middle of the road. My father got out of the car, and there was he went to the fence where he saw it land, and there was a $20 bill right on the fence.
So the wind pushed it against the fence. The wind
pushed it against the fence, and there was the $20 bill right there on the fence. My dad was like, look at God. $20 back in the day.
Back in the day, when gas was 86 cents.
I must have been like 6 or 7 when that happened. So gas must have been 75 cents, 70 cents. And $20 was like a full tank of gas and dinner. You know what I mean? And dinner.
Right.
And look at what God did. Because my dad he always talked about being faithful. He always talked about giving God back what God has given to you.
Right. You cannot, and it's so simple, Jess, you cannot outgive God.
You can't outgive God. And listen, he walked in faith. He was like, I'm going to go here and I'm going to hope because sometimes you know this more than
Now
me because
we're
I don't.
taking the pin off.
We're gonna take the pin off.
Okay.
Let's take the pin off of this. My dad used to go out, and sometimes he would get no love offering at all, and it would make him sad. Not because because he loved the Lord and he loved singing and he loved preaching and everything, and so he would keep doing it. But on the same note, right? You gotta bless God's people,
right?
You gotta bless God's people, and I've heard too many stories.
Right. It goes both ways. It's for the people in the church to be accepting and to come cheerfully to give, and also for the church to take care of those that are serving the church.
Yeah.
Like, the worker is como se dice en inglés, he's due his salary.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's so important that we also don't hold back.
Yeah.
From giving in the other direction.
Right.
Right. And look at the Lord. The Lord knew maybe that night your dad was not going to get.
Right. I don't even know if he got anything. I can't remember that far.
But God provided.
That's what I remember. I remember my dad's faithfulness. It was like taking a leap of faith. It's like taking a leap and not knowing what you're going to land on.
Yeah.
And he was like, you know what? I know that I'm taking this leap for the Lord. And whatever I land on or whatever I land in, it's okay because I walked in obedience to what God called me to do.
And sometimes we hear those stories and we feel like God's not going to... What stops us from walking in obedience, what stops us from taking the risk, what stops us from serving other people is that may have worked for Benny, but God can't do that today. And let me tell you, God still does it. It may not be the wind that he uses to bring $20, but all of a sudden on your way there, somebody will Cash App you, somebody will Venmo you, somebody will Zelle you. Like this is, we're living in a whole new century now,
Oh yeah.
So,
yeah.
But things are happening. You just have to do it and allow God to fulfill the need, because God has never been broke.
Yeah.
God has never been broke. He asked Isaac for his only son, knowing that he was already going to provide for the real sacrifice. He was just testing, will you go up that mountain?
Yeah.
Will you lay him down?
Right.
Will you trust that out of your son, I'm gonna make many nations?
Yeah.
Where's your heart? Is it him or is it me?
Right.
And so like so many times we in the church, we stop giving or we don't give because we're so afraid.
That's really where it comes down to. It's not that you're a bad person.
Exactly.
Or that you're malicious or anything else. It's because we're afraid, but we allow our fear to dictate the behavior instead of focusing on the obedience.
Right. And so we come into bad stewardship.
Yeah. Out of fear.
Right. Out of fear. And so many of us are not living the way we should because we haven't stewarded well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And again, lack of integrity.
Lack of integrity, lack of prioritizing God and your relationship with God. All those things contribute to not walking in obedience in the things that God has told us to do in giving. Right. Because we're not seeing that act of worship as priority in our lives. It's an act of worship.
It's an act of worship, 100%.
Yeah.
But
Sí, es verdad.
Oh.
Y'all, I watch too many TikToks.
She's a El Sabo kid. But we need to change around the culture and the dynamic of working in excellence.
Yeah.
Giving in excellence.
Yeah.
Working in excellence. Like, it's hard. It's hard. Once again, I want to commend everyone out there that puts in their 100.
Yeah.
That gets to work on time.
Yes.
Right? That, for nurses, it's not always easy to handle someone else's crisis when you're going through a crisis at home.
Ooh, yeah.
Right? for the cashier. It's not always easy to make conversation with everybody that goes through the line. But I remember there's some times where I see a cashier and her demeanor, you know, I could be stressed out and she's like, hey, how's your day going? Well, you know, is everything good? And I'm like, you need to respond to this person because she's giving you your time.
Right.
She's giving her time. She could easily just not even look at you or just be like, hi, you know.
Right.
But and then we get mad, Father. Then we get mad when every person is being replaced by a machine. You didn't interact with them to begin with.
Right. Y'all the one that said you weren't getting paid enough.
Right. And all of a sudden we get upset that everything is automated, everything is this and everything is that. But when we had the ability to interact, to have community with someone, to have interaction with someone, we did not utilize it correctly. Mm-hmm. You know, I told Jess and Richie yesterday, I was like, you know what? I would love to live in a small town where, you know, those small towns where like the bar is also like the meeting place, the diner, the breakfast place. Like it's just the community center, really.
Right.
And because, you know, as you get older, you just want to be somewhere where it's family.
Right.
And I feel like
where everybody knows your name
and they're always glad you came. You want to be no. So like I think that we have lost interaction, we've lost excellence.
Yeah.
And again, we understand and I hope that you know you get it. We understand that people are not being seen at work.
Yeah, we get it. I mean, you know, a lot of times we're unappreciated. You know, we
take it for granted.
Taken for granted, taken advantage of.
Sure.
You know, treated badly.
Right.
You know, even abused sometimes. You know, that people yell at you and curse at you and talk down to you. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get all those things.
Like, did you need to yell at me because the ice cream machine was out of order today?
I mean, I know what restaurant are you talking about. Starts with an M, but yeah, but again, it comes all back around to that, you know, that teaching moment. What are we teaching people about Christians? What are we teaching people about believers?
Right.
You know, people should want to hire believers because they know that we're going to work the best. Yes. They should want to hire believers because they say, you know what, these are going to be some integrous people. They should want to hire us because they're going to say, you know, they're going to work hard to get along with other people. They're going to be problem solvers. They're going to be innovative. You know, they're going to be critical thinkers. You know, they're going to be people who initiate. They're going to be people who I don't have to really, you know, oversee as much because they're going to do what they said that they were going to do, and they're going to follow the rules. They're not going to cut corners. They're not going to lie.
I feel like what we need to understand is when we work in that excellence, in that spirit of excellence, no matter what everybody else is doing, God makes a way for opportunity.
He does.
You know,
well, faithful in the little, and God will give you more.
Yeah.
And that's when those doors start opening up. God's like, man, you were faithful right here. Now let's see what else you can do.
There's a favor that falls upon you. That's only God. And when you do it as if you're doing it unto the Lord, when you're working as you're working for the Lord, all of a sudden, you know, he's over your manager. He's over your supervisor. God opens doors for you. When you didn't think that anyone was watching, he was watching. Where, you know, when everybody else was taking money out of the cash drawer and you said, I can't do that even though I'm falling short on rent this month. All of a sudden you get a check in the mail, or all of a sudden somebody calls you up and says, look, I've got this job opportunity and it actually pays $4 more than what you're getting right now. Those things happen when you start working in integrity, in good character, when you start developing that wisdom that God, and using that wisdom that the Lord has given you. There's so many things that happen, but we need to turn this around. Like, we do.
Yeah, we do. And it takes it takes each of us individually, right? To really,
I'm talking to all of us. Like,
all
let's
of
make our
us, even
communities
myself.
better.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Each of us has a place. We can make a difference in our workplace. We can make a difference in, wherever you're connected.
For sure.
Right? We can make a difference. We have to
Absolutely.
be the one. God has called us to be leaders wherever we are.
Yeah.
In our circle of influence, right? To be a person of integrity, to be a person of, of character, and telling the truth and not lying, and not falling into the same habits as everybody else. And God has called us to be different.
Like, the boss isn't here, right?
Right.
The boss is not here today. Everybody's taking 2-hour lunches.
Right.
I'm going to stick to my 30 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, I might be a little guilty of that. But I mean, that's honest, right? That's honest. But ultimately, right, God has spoken into it and said, well,
right.
You need to.
I'm trying to think of, because there was something that I was about, I don't know if I shared it with you, something small. And I said, man, I couldn't do it because the Holy Spirit told me right away. Man, I'm going to think of it. I'm going to remember. Yes, it just happened. And immediately the Holy Spirit said, yeah, well, that's not what you're going to do. And I was like, okay.
Yeah. And that's why it's so good to be in tune with the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
So that he can guide you in all those different situations. Now, I had a job and I worked for a certain university.
Oh, I got it. Can I say it real
Go ahead.
quick? Okay. Quick. University, don't forget. So on the plane, on the way here, your girl no longer gets her nails done. Like,
oh,
yes,
that's right.
Right? Okay. So I no longer get my nails done, and you will always see me with nails on. I just refuse at this stage in my life to spend a certain amount of money to get my nails done. So I resorted to doing press-ons, and they're just as glamorous. They look just as professional. I enjoy them, and they last for 2.5 weeks. And I have an extra set if I want to go the whole month with them. And they are more than half. They're like pennies, to what they would be in the salon. Anyway, like I said, in this season, that's where I'm at. I did not have time before I came over here to put my nails on. As I'm on the plane, we're about to take off. I lay everything on my lap. I put them in order because that's how your girl is, okay? There's a process to everything. I lay them on my lap. I put them in order. I make sure I match them all up. I have my little glue, and I'm just there minding my own business. And I'm putting them on when all of a sudden the stewardess comes around, and she goes, ma'am, she said, you can't do that on here. That glue, which is this big, okay, this big, is toxic and extremely flammable. And I said, okay. And I just put everything away, my little glue, I put it away, and I put it in the pocket in front of me. Now, I had 3 nails left. 3 nails left. I was looking crazy. I was like, it was this pinky and the middle finger. I was looking crazy, right? Now, if you know my character, that was driving me nuts. Keep looking at my hand like, oh my gosh, that is driving me insane. Jessica,
Yeah.
Like, I need to do something right now. So what I heard was, she's not coming back here and checking on you. Just quickly put glue on those 3 fingers and
pop on
the nails, and you're done. And then you won't have this like chaos happening in your life. But what I also heard was, you were given instruction. My God of heaven. You were given an instruction. When you lead, you expect people to hear your instruction.
Right.
And do as you say. Will you show integrity by not defying, even though this little piece of glue was not going to hurt the plane and was not going to be responsible for anyone's demise.
Right.
Okay? For the plane crashing, none of it.
Right.
But what are you going to do? I knew the answer. I knew the answer right away. And Jessica, I'm going to tell you this because you've been saying it a lot, like in the little things. I knew the answer was, this is a test. Because something's about to come up that
Yes.
if I fail this right now and I defy what her clear directions were, then I'm not going to get the opportunity to show integrity in a bigger space.
Come on.
This flight is only getting me to Dallas. But if I listen to the instruction, the next flight's going to get me to Europe. You understand what I'm telling you?
Ooh, that just gave me goosebumps.
So that's how I felt from the Lord. And you know what? I put it away. I had the inner battle of having to see this. And again, there's some personality types that would understand. Some of you wouldn't care, like whatever. But for me, this was a lot.
Yeah.
Because I had to keep seeing something that was incomplete. So as soon as we landed, I got off. I went to the restroom. And I put on the other 3 nails and met Jess with all 10 nails.
Yeah.
And a clear conscience.
Right. That's good. Because really, you know, in order to lead others, we have to be people of integrity.
In order
to be a good leader, you got to be a good follower too.
Absolutely. Yes.
You know, and
say that one more time.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
In order to be a good leader, you have to be a good follower. And who are we following? Jesus.
He followed the laws of the land. He did not come to defy. He did not come. He corrected Peter's mistakes.
Yeah.
You know, he showed his disciples how to live this out.
Yeah.
If they don't receive you, that's okay. You're not going to fight with them. You're not going to do this. You're not going to backlash. You're not going to push back.
You keep going.
Just keep going. Just keep moving. Dust the dirt off your feet.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It really is about you know, displaying the character of Christ every single day.
Every single day.
Every small
y eso
interaction.
No es fácil, pero la cosa es que eso no es fácil.
No, it's not easy.
Right?
It's not.
You think our man, you know, the man that is inside of us wants to adhere with stupid laws sometimes, stupid rules?
Stupid rules, yeah.
Yeah, no, we want to be like, why? Why do we have to do that? That's stupid.
Right. Why do I have to stop at a red light? Why do I have to stop at the stop sign?
Right.
Why do I have to wear my seatbelt? How come I can't? I'm gonna go in right now.
Say it.
How come I can't read my text messages and write a whole paragraph text message while I'm driving?
Why can't I scroll on Facebook while I'm driving? Right?
And some of us do.
Right. Why can't I be late? That, you know what? Like when we're in the job force, you know, why do I have to work in a team? I could do this by myself. Mm-hmm. You know, why do I have to work with her? I'm going to do my part, you do your part, and then whatever. No, you were told to be collaborative and work on this. We cannot pick and choose. And that is why greater doors are not open onto us. That is why we're stuck. Many of us feel stuck because you failed the test of the press-on nails.
Right.
Right? And so we have to really look at our lives. How are we governing them?
That right there. How are we managing ourselves?
How are we managing ourselves?
You know, some of us want to be managers of other people. You can't even manage yourself. You know, what are you doing? How are you managing your time? How are you behaving when no one's looking?
Some people that have children and you're like, I don't understand why they blah, blah, but it's because they see that you're not a manager of your own life. You know, you can't control your tongue and you expect everybody else to control theirs. Like, it doesn't happen that way.
Right. It doesn't happen that way.
You know, there are learned behaviors there. And you're teaching people around you that it's okay to go to whatever you want to say, you say it. That's not what the Bible says.
Yeah.
The wise man shuts their mouth.
Yeah.
Doesn't always speak.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know. I just really hope that we go back to a spirit of excellence.
Yeah. And I think we just need to remember that when we go out to these places and people are not putting in their 100% and they're treating you like trash, because sometimes they just treat you blatantly like trash.
Right.
I think that number one, don't internalize it. And number two, think about, am I doing this in my context?
Yeah.
You know, and if it doesn't feel good to me, is that how I'm making other people feel?
So good. That's really good.
Because really Christ doesn't want us to treat people bad. Christ doesn't want other people to feel bad on our account, because that's not Christ-like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So am I doing that to other people? Is this the way other people feel when I do the same thing to them?
Right.
You know, because that's never what God wants us to do.
No, and I think that it feels good when we do good.
It does. And think about how good you feel when you get great customer service. Like, granted, the chicken may not be great at Chick-fil-A, but if you're having a bad day,
I'm just gonna go through the drive-through just to get greeted.
If you're having a bad day,
Right.
and you think that let somebody say one more thing to me, because I'm about to go crazy up in here.
You would.
Do not go to Wendy's. Do not go to McDonald's, because you don't know what might come out of their mouth. But if you go to Chick-fil-A, trust me on this one, you will leave in a good mood.
How are you?
Yeah.
Thank you for coming by. How can I help you today?
Right.
Thank you so
My
much.
pleasure. It's
Be
my
blessed.
pleasure. Yeah.
And highly favored.
Yes, and it makes you feel good.
No, absolutely.
It makes you feel good because
Absolutely.
at the end of the day, you don't know what the other person's going through.
We don't know what the other, and I always try to side with that. I always, as we've learned and as we've counseled, we understand that not everybody was born bitter. There were things that happened that led them to this.
Yeah.
So our job is not to, psychoanalyze everyone, but it's to be understanding and to maybe show them, out of 100 people in their lives that lead them to this bitterness, maybe be that one dose of honey.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You were going to say something about university. Do you remember?
Yeah, I was going to say something about a university. So just real quick, I worked at a university and I thought it was my dream job. And this university, it was a very prestigious university and everything. And I was really excited. Like, I was like, wow, this is like very prestigious, And I started working there and immediately, like, got there the first day. They had no place for me to put my stuff. They put me in this empty office that looked literally like a haunted office. Mm-hmm. Okay, I was there by myself with all these dusty old books and boxes and everything else. That wasn't even my permanent place. Then the manager left me there for 2 days, never told me what I was supposed to do, never told me how to get started. He was too busy and wrapped up in his own stuff. As the weeks went on, I started noticing that he was asking me to do things that were against policy. Write checks to certain people, having certain contractors, trying to get me to hire some family members of his, different things that, that I just wouldn't sign checks for because I don't want to be a person that is, lacks integrity.
Complicit?
And plus, complicit.
Right. Uh-huh.
Plus, you're getting me to do something that is not right. And I'm immediately like, I'm new. Like, you're asking me.
El problema que tú tienes es que no has empleado una babosa. Thank you.
And there you have it. And so, it was really hard. So finally, here's the thing. When people show themselves in that way, trust me, they are very dishonest in other ways too. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're dishonest and it's just a tiny little, no, it's not. You know what I'm saying? If the
you
cash
come out of your face, blinked, just if you could come out of your face without any tremble, that's how you live your life.
Right.
You a scammer.
Right.
You a straight up trickster.
Right. And so I started looking at all the things that he had told me when he got me to go there in the interview. And I started making a list of the things that he said that it was going to be. And it was nothing. The whole situation was nothing as he said it was going to be. I literally wrote down all the things, went to the supervisor, and even the supervisor brushed me off, canceled our appointment because she had to go visit with, she had a meeting with her interior decorator. Because that's more important than, but again, right, there's the culture.
Right.
Literally went through my whole list.
Yeah.
And it was supposed to be a follow-up. So I already had confronted her with the whole list. He said this is what it is. He said, and very plain so that they wouldn't say, you're just an emotional female or whatever. Right. Very plain.
Ooh,
this is what it was.
You went somewhere
this
else.
Is what it was. This is what it is. This is what he said. This is what he said. And this is what he did and whatever. Because trust me on this one, people's actions, that's just what you see. If you follow the trail of the action, you're going to realize that this person is not integrous in all areas of their lives.
Right. Right.
Long story short, after, the manager decided not to show up to our follow-up, meeting because the interior decorator, I was driving to work that Monday morning, and I turned on the radio, and a song came on the radio, Christian radio, and it was a song about it was about a prodigal son, and it was time to come home because the university was 3 hours away from my house, so I was staying at a efficiency 3 hours away from my family, and I would come home on the weekends because we were trying to decide if we were going to move the whole family down to this new city.
Okay.
And so I heard that song came on about the prodigal son. It's time to come home. My heart started beating so fast. Tears were rolling down my eyes. I knew that God was telling me, this is not the place that I have placed you. It is time for you to come home. I walked into that office. I started packing everything up. I had gone back to the house after, so I say this. I went to the office, packed up all my stuff quietly, just went, packed up my bags, put my books, everything else, put it in the car, came back in, sat at my computer, typed up a literally 2-sentence resignation letter. I'm resigning from the position of XYZ, effective immediately. Never as an adult. And I had just gotten my PhD. And here I was, jobless.
Oh, Lord.
Like this, look. Went in there, printed up the letter, signed it, put it on his desk. I said, I am resigning. He said, when's your last day? I said, effective immediately. Now I'm leaving. And I walked out. And I was scared because I was thinking, oh man, we just cut our salary immediately in half. Do you know that God was so faithful,
Jesus,
that a week before that, we had some land that we have been trying to sell for years. And that week, somebody showed interest in the land. After years, we were able to sell it. And with that money, we were able to pay off both our car notes. I had more money in the account than when I actually had the job.
My God.
That's how faithful God is. When you are a person of integrity, when you stand up, yes.
When you refuse to do the cuts, when you refuse to have anything taint your character, when you live upright, and do not allow yourself to walk with the wicked,
yes,
because you need a job.
Yeah.
Once again, we're talking to you that have been doing good. Keep doing good. God's gonna make a way for you.
Yeah.
Everybody else doesn't want to work. You keep working. Everybody else doesn't want to clean. Everybody else is on their cell phone while you're busting your behind. You keep working.
Yeah.
That's incredible. I'm so glad that you said that.
Yeah. And then 4 months after, because God is faithful.
Yeah.
4 months after, I got a job working for an online university, and I got to work from home. And so, God is so faithful, guys. God is so faithful. He places you places because he wants to see your obedience, because he wants to see what you're going to do.
Right.
He wants to see if you're going to actually live out what you say you believe. Wow. And it really does come down to how you treat people. Are you doing the right thing when no one's looking? Are you representing God in a good light? And if you are, God will bless you with more. Yeah. And so in that university, the one that hired me, that I was working for them full-time online, I had applied to that university over 20 times.
Wow.
Because, I'm a person of perseverance. I don't be playing. Yeah. If I have my mind set on something, I will keep applying until you finally give in, bro. You are going to give in and be like, listen, let's just give this girl a job.
You are resilient.
Yeah, and that's just my character. Yeah. You know what I mean? And God blessed me with that. And everybody was like, you know how many times I applied there? I'm like, yeah, because I've done it. They're like, how did you do it? I'm like, it really was in God's hands.
Wow.
I had to trust God. That God, I did the right thing, and it didn't pay, it didn't seem like it was going to pay off, because for 4 months I was without work and I was applying every day and everything else. And on that 4-month mark, God opened up the door for me to be able to do, what I was supposed to be doing at that season. And so anyway, all that to say, right, that no matter what you're going through at work, no matter, if you're like, they're a bunch of thieves here, they're always lying, they're always this, that, none of that matters.
Right.
What matters is, what are you gonna do
Right.
in the middle of all that?
Yes.
Are you gonna stand up for truth? Are you gonna be a good representative of who God has called you to be? Are you gonna treat people with love and kindness?
Right.
Are you gonna do the right thing? Are you gonna clean the tables? Are you gonna train the people, to be people of character?
And not just clean the table, not just wipe it down, but get in the crevices. Are you gonna go above and beyond?
Are you gonna go above and beyond?
Because that's what changes.
Right.
That's what changes the game.
Right.
Those that go above and beyond.
Exactly.
I'm excited for everybody's upcoming months.
Testimonies. Give us some testimonies, because I know this word is for somebody.
Absolutely.
I know this word. I know somebody right now.
There's 20 of you right now
is literally struggling at your job right now because your boss wants you to do something that's not right. Your boss wants you to do something illegal. Your boss wants you to break the rules. Your boss wants you to cut corners, and you have to stand up and you have to say no. You want to know why? Because I'm a woman of God. Because I'm a woman of integrity.
Right.
Because I'm a man after God's own heart.
Right.
You have to say no, and God will bless you. You cannot live in fear, because all the treasures on earth belong to the Lord.
Everything belongs to the Lord. Was created by Him, for Him.
Yeah.
And we are in His mercy. He extends it to us.
There you go.
So I'm excited, Jess. I'm excited to read all the testimonies that are going to come out of this. Once again, this is unscripted. This is what the Lord has brought for us to speak about today. And I'm excited.
I'm excited too, guys. And what we're really excited about is to hear the stories.
Yeah.
So make sure that you tell us in the comments. Make sure you send us an email. Alexa, what's the email?
Is LasLocasChronicles@gmail.com.
Send us your emails, your testimonies, and we would love to hear. And I think we might have an episode where we're gonna read off some of those testimonies. So
that's a good idea.
Let's go.
Absolutely. So if you know of a good Waffle House, let me know, because that's another joint that I be liking, but I can't be going to every Waffle House for the same reason that we've explained.
This one's clean here, so we can do that the next time. It's clean.
Yeah. Nah, we tell them what we're going to eat today.
Oh, y'all, listen. If you're in the Dallas area, Garland, there is
If you have suggestions of where I need to eat, your girl's a foodie.
Yeah.
Pray for this inflammation, that all of this.
We're gonna pray about that.
Yes,
we're gonna pray about that.
But your girl's a foodie, and she's always asking me, like, where do you want to eat? And I like authentic food. I don't give me like these run-of-the-mill commercial spots that all they're doing is nuking your food in the back. Like, I want to know somebody's actually cooking the food. That makes a difference.
Yeah. So we found this little spot here in Garland, Texas, and it's called Nora's Asian Cuisine. And so good. They have rolls, they have ramen bowls, they have poke bowls, they have, orange chicken and rice bowl, like all kinds of different bowls, and they have nice appetizers, boba tea. And so I bring all my friends there. Like, people want to meet me at church. I'm like, hey, have you ever been to Nora's? No, we're going to go. I mean, the guy knows us. He's like, hey.
He knows them so well that we walked in and Richie's like, I'm going to he goes, orange chicken. He knew his order. He knew his order. I'm going to go for that pork miso soup again.
Pork miso soup. I had the shrimp tempura miso mild. Ooh, my God.
Are you gonna go for that?
I don't know. I like to change it up a little bit in that restaurant. Okay. Not in all the restaurants.
Yeah, that's odd.
In that restaurant,
you would do that.
Yeah. Because I like the shrimp tempura roll, but
I
also like the shrimp tempura miso soup, mild. I also like the orange chicken bowl and the teriyaki chicken bowl.
Ooh.
I like edamame with sriracha.
Okay. She was like, do you like sriracha? Before I could say yes, my girl was squeezing the whole bottle of sriracha on top of the edamame. And I was like, let me get a napkin and wipe mine off.
You ain't living.
Listen, we're so glad that you tuned in today. Thank you for joining us on another episode of Las Locas Chronicles. We're going to see you soon.
Have a wonderful day.